All right, welcome to another day of LSAT prep with Tony. I'm shooting for the August 14th LSAT for 2021. I have chosen LSAT Max as my course to get there. I started out with a 141 diagnostic or cold score and shooting for the high 160s, if possible 170. I have about 3 months to do it in. So we're about halfway, maybe not quite halfway through yet. I think that I have another 8 to 10 weeks. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks left before it's time to go. Actually, this is the end of this week, so yeah, just kind of that. So anyway, few more weeks to go, and we're gonna do our very best. We've been using LSAT Max's course, which been pretty happy with overall. Definitely, there are some things that I would prefer to have gone differently. Like, for instance, when you take a practice test, which I'll talk about a little bit today, you can't separate out the questions that you guessed on, so they play into your analytics. Like, let's see if we go here, this analytics, these argument completion questions, this 4 out of 6. I don't know if that includes my practice test questions or not. I don't think it does, because I think that I've probably done more than that, including all the practice tests and everything. Maybe it does. So I've asked some questions and haven't gotten great service from the chat. On email, I've gotten good service, so maybe I just need to change my way of contacting them. But I mean, I figure if I contacted them, I shouldn't have to try and chase them down if I've already contacted them in one way. So anyway, those things aside, I'm sure all of the test prep things have some stuff. But the main goal here is, let's get the best score in this amount of time that we have to do it in. Here is the calendar that I've been using. This is arranged for the August test. The course recommends that you start this in April. I did not have that opportunity because I was still doing my final term, my final part of my winter term of 2021. And so I was not available any of the time. I think I might have taken a little bit of time between finishing up my winter studies and then starting the LSAT training. However, I had also not yet chosen my course, so I took several days to decide which course I was going to take before I actually started. Anyhow, all that aside, getting into where we are now. As of yesterday, I was planning on taking this diagnostic test number 2, a little bit out of sequence, because I should have been doing this methods of reasoning and errors in reasoning first. Have not done those yet. Next thing I'm going to, or what I was involved in doing, I had finished up to this point multilinear games. However, I had not reviewed all concepts to cover to date. So I will do that today, and methods of reasoning and errors in reasoning. The big news for today, though, big news. Took the diagnostic test yesterday, and just to review how I'm going about this, maybe move this guy a little bit here. I hope that doesn't make me disappear. Oh, okay, that's fine. So this graphic depicts sort of the 30,000 foot view of the test prep, as it was stated by a tutor on YouTube who has a whole series of videos, and they're pretty good. I wish I could find them and link them for you. Anyhow, you have 2 triangles here. One triangle represents accuracy, and one triangle represents speed. You could call this accuracy or concept learning. But anyway, on this end of the spectrum, starting when you very first start your studying, you are going to start training on all the different concepts. And I haven't quite made it through all of them yet. So you're learning. And then at some point, you got to start picking up speed, because you don't have an eternity to do this test. You have a limited amount of time. You have 35 minutes per section, 4 sections. 5, actually. They have an experimental section that they maybe are or not doing at this point. So uh, um, as I go along each week, I took my cold score here at 141. Actually, my actual first cold score was 141. And I studied for 3 weeks and I got another 141, and I was very discouraged. That was last week. And then this week I was due another test. So I'm taking at least one test per week. And I think starting in July at some point, I start taking 3 tests per week. And so on yesterday, I took a test, and I, um, I'm sorry, I'm trailing off. So you start here with the 141 on your cold score, and then you end up with whatever score you want to have. And that's how I've done this. What I did is I took my target score and I put it down there at the other end. And I actually, you can see the graphic right back here. And I decided, okay, I need to get this 168 if I can. I'd like to be up in the 170s, but I figured 168 is a realistic goal because that's about 2 or 3 points per week. So what I did is I plotted it out. Okay, I just need to, break this up instead of, floating in the space between 141 and 168, just hoping for something. Give myself a measurable goal each week, a little goal, little goal, little goal. So 2 or 3 points per week. And this week my goal was, as you can see, 143. This was where I was supposed to be at right here. Okay, now, so I did a diagnostic test yesterday. Here's my breakdown, my analytics, and boom, 152. Can you believe that? 152. I mean, I wouldn't want to put together a law school application with that, but I'm super, super happy with that. There's 2 things that I can say. Number one, I didn't really feel that I was at my best, which is good in some ways. But also, my tutor, Chris, told me that there's a 6-point spread. And I don't know if that's 3 one way, 3 the other, or 6 one way and 6 the other. But he said that there's a spread. So if I had a really good test day, and that means that, I raised my score by 5 points. If I, because then you would take this down to 146, and 146 minus 141 is 5. So that would be a 5-point jump, which in that case would also be, would meet my goal of 2 to 3 points. So it would do better than my goal. That's good. So I'm very happy. I'm charged up today, get ready to go in and review all my wrong answers. And I guess we could take a quick look here. I don't want to bore you too much with the results of what I did, but this is how LSAT Max looks. Here's the way, I'm going to move myself aside here so you can see the whole thing. You have your scaled score, your raw score, your production on each of the individual sections, and then you have your production on each of the individual question types according to the different question types and logical reasoning, and then logic games and reading comp, your types of games and your types of passages that you read. So you can see I've got some work to do in some areas. Now, the one thing that happens is I guess. So I basically get down to about a minute, and when I'm to that point, I start guessing, and I gauge that based on how many questions I have left. This reading comp, I have got a lot of work to do here. I've got to pick up a lot of speed. I know that I can read faster. I don't know if I can read faster and still read carefully, because I find myself just at the edge of my abilities to answer the questions with the speed that I'm reading at. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I just need to pick up the speed. Stop messing around. So you can see down here, questions 1 through, I use B as my sort of tell for when I know that I'm actually starting to guess. And so let's just see if this is a B. Nope. So that's an actual wrong answer. And here's my starting of guessing. So B, B, B. Okay, so we know that I actually was able to make an attempt on 17 questions, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 out of 17, that's approximately a 65% accuracy. So that would have raised my score a little bit if I could actually make it through them all. So that would be some really good points to gain there. Logic games, I have the same problem. I just don't go fast enough. And I think that I'll probably get better. I just need to do more and more and more of the games and reading comp, I think. So I probably focus my review today less on the types of questions because some of them I'm doing pretty well on. And again, these points, as I was talking about earlier, I can't really take all of these scores seriously because at the end, which is recommended by LSAT Max Tutors, you're guessing. So there's no difference between a guess and a wrong answer as far as your scoring goes. So these last two I just got right by chance. So that's one of the advantages of guessing. I got a lot of them wrong, but that's two questions I picked up, for free, basically. So, but it does kind of mess up your ability to study. So I'm not sure that I think it's a good practice for me to get into to start guessing, because then when I get to the real LSAT, I'll already be in that mode. I'll know what to do. About a minute left. Get guessing. I don't know if I need to back off of that or not. So anyway, I've summarized what I'm going through now, which is looking at each of the sections and looking at my accuracy up to the point that I was starting to guess. And that is how I'm kind of gauging my progress on studying for the test. So here is my spreadsheet that I've got that I'm kind of using to take note of that. Across the top, you have logical reasoning 1, 2, games, and reading comp, and then the total score. Okay, so these are my two first tests, and then there's the one from yesterday. And what I have here on this A15, this is accuracy for the first 15 questions, because I know that I'm guessing, or I'm able to make an attempt on at least 15 questions. So these are helping me. This is helping me to know what's my accuracy for those questions that I'm actually making an attempt on. And so with logical reasoning, I'm about 86% here. On logic games, about 80%, and then reading comp, 66%. So that's my low-hanging fruit, so to speak. And so those are the two areas that I need to really pick up speed on, those two. So there's my total score, and that's it for today. So you guys have a great day. Like, subscribe, and comment, and have a great day. Press the LSAT.